Okay. So go to collab.research.google.com and come to Seaborn where we left yesterday. After coming to Seaborn, scroll down till the place we did. We did till violent plot yesterday, and till here we did, right? So I can just click on the next cell and just say that run and say that run before. So allocating, connecting, since I'm using for the first time today. Initializing Python 3, Google Compute Engine backend, and it's connected. It is executing, so all these blocks are executing. So let's wait till it comes here. Okay, so we have come till the violin plot, and yesterday we had discussed that violin plot is extensively, I mean, the box plot or violin plot is extensively used, especially the box plot, to find out the outliers so that you can do something without outliers, right? Maybe remove that particular row from the data itself because that is not giving the actual picture of the things. So going forward about if you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. If speaking, you can unmute. So let's start for today. Going to some of the plots for statistics. The two common things are like a bar plot and point plot. Let's see what each of these things does with practical. So let's execute this cell and try to understand about it. So you can see that these two lines of the code is doing nothing but loading a Titanic dataset. So Titanic dataset is provided by Seaborn library sns.load dataset Titanic. It is going to load it from into a data frame. And we are doing a df.head. What it is doing is it is showing the top 5 rows. It has few columns like survived, whether a person survived or died in this, right? Some people survived and some people died. Looking at these 5 rows only, you can say that the survival rate for female is more, as well as survival rate for first class is also more. Because it was but obvious that when the Titanic was sinking, they were rescuing the females first and the children's first, and also they were rescuing the class 1 first. So the chance of survival for the class 3 was less, as well as the chance of survival for male was less. You can make out with just a 5 rows of a data because this is a relatively simpler data set and you have a good idea about a Titanic movie as well as what happened to the Titanic ship. This is the age of the person, deck where where they boarded on. Are they currently alive or not? Were they alone in the ship or they were with someone else? So this guy was alone. This lady was alone in the ship, right? And so on and so forth. You can look into the entire Titanic dataset by just doing a Google. So you can find someone has put in a GitHub as well, Titanic dataset. And where is it? From Titanic. Kaggle is a good source of data. So they have given some data, right? 3 files and 31 columns. Each file is having 31 columns. You can click on Titanic, train or test, whatever. I don't know what ID I'm using over here. Let's try. So data download all. I understand and accept. Is it downloading? Let me see the images itself. Some of the things, right? What was a passenger ID? Doesn't matter. It's just a running number. Whether he survived or not, what class he was, what was his name, gender, what was his age. I think so. This refers for a sibling or something. I don't know. I also don't know what is this. There's a ticket. What was the fare of the ticket? Whether he was in cabin. What is the cabin number? From where he onboarded, right? Such kind of a data is there. You can also look for a Titanic data set and be towards a data science, machine learning with Titanic data set. This doesn't have an in private window. This also has an incognito mode like Google. Towards data science doesn't work open in an incognito mode. So these are the fields, right? Whether he survived or not. Yes, for survived or not. What was the ticket class for second, third, sex, age in years. SIBSP is the number of siblings, spouse aboard the Titanic, and Parch is number of parents, children's about the Titanic. Ticket number.
The screen is different, Harish.
Sorry.
The screen which you are showing is different from what.
Oh, okay. Maybe let me share again. New share. Is it visible now? Can you see which variables are in our data?
No, we can. I can see only the Google page actually.
Yeah, we can only see this towards datascience.com.
Yes.
Oh, cannot see below.
Yeah,
because
cannot.
it's an incognito mode, so it doesn't allow me to share.
Okay.
Let me figure out what to do, because without an incognito mode, it's saying that there are limited number of stories that you can read for free. Okay, or else it asking to log in. Okay, now it is visible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You can see which variables are in our data set, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So incognito mode is sometimes useful when you have exhausted reading the number of free stories or free things. So which variables are there in a data set? You have a survival, whether a person survived or not. Ticket class, whether it is a first, second, or third. Sex, that is gender, male or female. Age is in years. SIBSP is number of siblings or spouses that were in the Titanic at that time. Parch is like a parents and children's. PR, parent, children. Or number of parent and children on board on Titanic. Ticket is the ticket number of that person. Fare is the amount. Cabin number. And where he basically got in. C is for Edinburgh, Q is for Queenstown, and S is for Southampton. So this is basically a data set, right? You can read more about the data set in this Kaggle. In this towards data science, and you can easily download the data set as well as you can get the data set from here as well. I'll just say that read more about data set from this link, right? So this is the data set that is loaded over here, and we are plotting something, right? Let's try to understand what it is doing. So fixed size 12 and 8 is like basically we are deciding that how big is the figure we want, how big is the graph we want. So it is again an optional parameter. If you want, you can skip it. You are plotting a bar plot over here and specifying x-axis is the gender. So x-axis is having a male and female, only two things on the x-axis. The y-axis is whether a person survived or not, right? If he survived or not survived. So survived flag was 1. So these are the people who survived. If you look into, these are the people who survived, these are the people who survived, these are the people who survived, and so on. So whether a survived or not is over here on this axis, whether a person survived. And hue is on the basis of a class. So for male, it is going to show all the 3 classes. The blue line is a first class, the orange or brown, whatever is this, is a second class, and this green is a third class. So looking, and this data is equal to df is nothing but the data frame, which is nothing but we have loaded a sns.load dataset Titanic data. So we are using these 3 columns to plot a bar plot. So looking at this bar plot, what can you say about a female and male who survived more?
Female.
Female.
Female survived more, right? Female survived more. I mean, this part is a female. This is a female in the first class. You can see it over here in the blue. A female in a second class, female in a third class. Okay, so female survived more. Clearly, the graph is bigger, right? So by this, you can have an intuition that if a person is going to survive or not will also depend on the gender. Obviously, when they will rescue female first. So it's but obvious observation. But looking at the graph, you should be able to make it. The second thing, within a male or within a female, who survived more, the first class guy or second class or third class?
First class.
First class, right?
First class.
Over here, the first class and first class, right? It's a comparatively more. For a female, it's still like this, but male, it is comparatively a lot more. So obviously, they must have given a first preference to a first class guy. Then finally, it's a plot.show so that it comes on a screen. Okay. So is it mandatory to write plot.show? Why is it still showing a plot.show? Why is it still showing over here?
The last line is.
It's the last line, right? So if I do a print 5, right? So it's where this print 5 is printing 5. It's still showing. I mean, it's still showing because because of probably some setup and so on. But it's always good to do a plot.show, or maybe a bar plot is still returning and displaying on a screen. But always do a plot.show, safer side.
So one question, Aresh, like here in this graph, can we show the number of people also display the value, column value basically, bar
The
value?
count value, right?
Uh-huh.
You should be able to display. You'll have to see what are the parameters in a bar plot.
Okay. And I don't know whether we asked this question, but this y-axis is survived, but it's like basically it summarized by survived and number of people, right? Number of male and number of female.
Right.
But is it not like confusing, the y-axis which says 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.810?
It's confusing, but you can just replace it by some other way you want to give. So if you go into the parameter of the sns.barplot, if I hover, it is somehow not coming. Just go to sns.barplot, and there are a lot of parameters: x-axis, y-axis, hue. We did data, whether you want to order, you order, how you want to order on the screen by hue, that is highest, first, or what way. There is a confidence interval and so on and so forth, seed, orientation, color palette, saturation, air width, capsize, dodge, X. So over here is like he has just plotted X and Y and data tips. Just run X, Y, U data tips. So over here he has written as order by. So x-axis was a time, but he has done order by dinner and lunch. So time it doesn't know, right? I mean, show a dinner first and then the lunch. Estimator has median, shows the standard error of the mean by bar, confidence interval 68. Color Salman, face color. Not enough examples, I mean, but yes, there should be a way to, if you want to change it to the count of it, then you should be able to do it as well. You can read more about it in the documentation. You should be able to find it. Okay. Going to the next one over here, orientation is H. It is the same graph, just that we are plotting it as horizontally. Then there is a similar thing that is a count plot. That is a variation of a bar plot, where the observation is shown as compared to the statistics, right? So that's what you wanted to see, the count. So this is a count, right? Around 350. So what we are doing, we are plotting a sex on this axis. Hue is class, and we are just doing a count for, you're taking a total count, right, on the y-axis. So this is giving that how many people were on board. This is giving how many people were on board. So in the third class, there were maximum males, right? There's a male. Okay, let's see how to look this. So you are plotting a x-axis as a sex. So you are having a male and female. Q is the class. So for each male as well as a female, you are having a first class, second class, and third class that you can see from a colors over here, from a legend over here. First class, second class, and a third class. So this is what I have. Data is coming from a data frame, and I'm using a blue color for it. So what it says is there were in total there were 350 males in which class? Third class, right? Then there were this many males in a second class and this many males in a first class. Males in a first class were greater than a males in a second class. Similarly, for female also, female in the first class was greater than a female in a second class, and the female in the third class was the most, right? And many numbers of the people were the male in the third class, right? This is what you can see. So this is giving you a count plot, what you were saying about in the previous option. You can explore if you are having, I mean, in the previous option, are you having in the bar plot, you are getting some option for the count or not? If not, you can use the count plot for it.
Okay. I mean, if here we need to just say like survived, so that is
Right.
also possible.
Right, of course, right. It's very simple, right? What you can do is over
Y equal
here,
to survived. Is it?
you take data frame is equal to data frame dot whatever is the column name, right? Survived
Okay.
is equal to 1, right? And take a data frame of it, the entire data frame of it. So data frame of data frame survived is equal to 1. So wherever survived is equal to 1, those rows will be selected as true, and outside data frame is going to give entire row into a data frame. So the one way is you change the contents of a data frame itself. The second way of it is also you can also specify over here in the query. You can specify that query that only show for data frame survived is equal to 1. Don't plot for survived is equal to 0. So it will give you only the survived one. I think so. One example of the query we have somewhere. I don't know whether it's up or down. Over here, right? In the cat plot we did, data is equal to data frame, pair is equal to 0, right? So similarly in the data for this plot as well, it is yet to come, right? But over here also you can say that data is equal to data frame dot query survived is equal to 1, right? So it should work, right? Let us try. Data frame, this is our data, right? So let me add a new cell. You want only for survived. So the number of people in third class are more. See count of survived people, right? And data is equal to df dot query survived is equal to 1. Let's try. So it gives some error. Cannot assign without a target object. Value error cannot assign without a target object. That has to be an error over here itself. Survived is equal to 1. df dot query okay. Okay. So it was taking as an assignment operator, whereas it should be a double equal to equality operator. Okay, so you can see that we are only getting a count of survived, and over here you can find that around these many people, around maybe 90 female survived in the first class, around 70 female in the second and third class also survived, right? Similarly, these many male from first and third class survived, and these many males for second class survived. Any of the number of male in the second class were comparatively less as well. So this is how you can plot. Any questions so far? This is how you can plot.
Harish, who is equal to class you have mentioned, but there is a no column called as class, right? How it is considering it as a first class, second class, third class?
Oh, there is a class column, right? There is a class column.
T class is there, but not class.
There should be. It's not visible, right? Over here it is not visible.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Google and increase number of columns visible in pandas data frame, right? There is some parameter. I don't recall. pd dot option dot display width is equal to 0. No. Let us see. I should have that in the EDA notebook. Yes. Display max columns has 500. So let's say display max columns has 500. Right. So you can see over here survived P class. Over here is the class.
Okay, okay.
First. Just use this parameter if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
So hue would mean here like breakdown by class also, or it will mean like color by the class?
Both are true, right? Breakdown by a class as well as a color by class. Breaking as well, right? Separating by class as well. Okay, so it's showing for each class. The first class has these many people, second and third. Okay, any other questions, anyone? So you can just try and experiment, right, with a deck and this and so on and so forth, as much you can. Okay, going to a point plot. So it is similar to the previous one itself, just giving the same information, right? We are plotting an x-axis that is for survived, y-axis is for, sorry, x-axis is for gender, male, female, y-axis is for survived, U is for the class, and DF is the data frame that is coming. Right. So this is my x-axis. This is my x-axis, that is x, y-axis that is survived, that is hue. So you are having three different things: male, female, and the hue is a class, right? So first and second and third class. And this is the data that is coming from a DF, that is a data frame. Then legend we are putting on a upper right. So this is called as a legend. Sometime if you, I mean, most of the time the default will place it at the proper place. But sometime if it is not proper, you can specify where you want. Prop size is 10, what is the size of it? And plot.show is finally to show on the screen, right? So it's, what does it say? Number of males, right, survived are comparatively less as compared to the number of females survived for a first class. Second class also, number of males survived are less than the number of females survived in a second class. Similarly, for a third class as well, the number of males survived is less as compared to the number of female. Again, looking only at this part, you can say that the number of males survived in second class and third class is same, right? So this is what you can understand by looking into the data. Wide form data, you can plot a box plot. Let's look into it. Box plot, we have covered it before as well. So if there is a lot of distribution of a data, right, and plot a box plot or a violent plot. I think so. We discussed this above. We discussed both box plot as well as a violent plot above. So what is a box plot? Is like this, what we discussed yesterday. The only thing, since we are over here, is I have also written something about a wide form data. So what is a wide form data is if it is the data is distributed more, right? That means it's not an even distribution. Your data is not like this. The data distribution is not like this. It's not like this. The more data at the center and the data over here. It's something like it's something like kind of this data. You are having a data over here, 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 right? Say example of this can be a salary. So there are a lot of people between a range of 10K to 20K, right? Maybe a 20K is here, then less people till 30K, then 30K and 40K more people, then less people till 50K, again 60K more people, then less people till 1 lakh or 100,000, then more than 100,000 is more people, right? Something like this. So if you're not having a even distributed data, right, that's not a normalized data, like you are having an outlier over here, right? You can see a dot 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 over here. You are having an outlier over here. So such kind of a data where you have an outlier, I mean, in a practical world, almost all kind of a data will have an outlier, right? So for such kind of a data, you prefer a box plot, right? And the violent plot was just very similar to a box plot, just that it also shows a kernel density estimator. So it also gives you like the distribution, right? So you can see that over here, the data that is present, over here, it gives you where exactly is the curve, right? It is also giving a kernel density estimator function. Okay, the data is like this, but within this one, where is the curve? Where is the more data? So this is the more data. It also gives. Over here also there is a little bit more data with a petal length of around 2.4, and there is little bit more data over here with a petal length of 5. If you look into this, there is more data. There is a more data over here. The petal length of 2.5, a sepal width of 2.5. Over here, it is like kind of a more uniform over here, right? So as compared to box plot, the violent plot gives a further more information because it just does not give an interquartile region and whiskers that we saw yesterday, but it also gives where is the more data. Where is the more data present? The more data is present over here. The data is concentrated over here and here and here and so on, right? So I will just keep it over here, just kind of a revision over here. This is a very important plot, but we had already discussed this yesterday above. In the previous session, we have already discussed this. Since it is over here, I don't want to delete it because this is an important plot. Then going ahead, showing multiple relationships. Okay, let's look into this particular code. This is an interesting code and I tried to fix it a little bit, but I couldn't. Maybe you can help me out. But this looks more beautiful on a Jupyter notebook, but on a Google Colab, if you see this x-axis, it is coming as a very bad, something not really good, right? And what I can do is if I remove this piece of a code, you can see that both the places, right, over here as well as over here. The place over here as well as place over here, this x-axis is just getting like overlay because there is not enough space. So what you can do is you can play with the x-axis or somehow, or you can just rotate it and make it little bit better. I just tried to do that over here. So I say that rotation by a 45 degree. I did a rotation by a 45 degree. Horizontal alignment to the right side. Font weight is light. Font size is extra small. I tried all this variation, whatever I could Google and find out. But it still did not give me a better result. If you just put a rotation of a 45 on the x-axis, it is just rotating by 45, right? And you can try each and every parameter. But this is a kind of a thing like, if you are stuck, just keep on trying something. But even on trying all these things, somehow this x-axis is on the first graph is not showing that good. But that's okay. Bear with me, and if you're able to fix it, do suggest me a fix as well. So let's go ahead. This is a data set that we are loading. This is the data set that we are loading. That is a tips data set. df is equal to sns.load dataset tips. So it says that what was the total bill, what is the tip that person gave, whether it was a male or female, whether it was a smoker or not smoker, what was the day, that is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, what was the time, dinner or lunch, and what was the number of people that were accompanied in total, size of a group. Then sns.set palette, and what I've done over here is sns.color palette as red and blue. Red and blue, only two colors, right? Red and blue, only two colors. If I give 4, if I give over here 4, then it will give me 4 shades between red and blue. Probably it will look like a red, and then it will be a combination of red and blue. Maybe it looks like a green, I don't know. Maybe a little bit dark blue, or maybe this is a light blue, right? Something like a light red or something like that. So basically it gives a 4 shade between a red and blue color if you say it as a 4. If you say it as a 2, it will give you a 2 shade. Why I selected this 2 specifically? because my hue is a smoker, right? My hue is a smoker. So smoker can either be yes or no. There cannot be multiple things, right? So I just selected two colors over here. If your hue is something else which can be have a multiple option, right? Example grade, and there are three possible grades, 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C, right? Three grades are possible, A, B, and C. Then in that case, what you will say is red and blue, and I want three different colors, right? Something like that. Let me remove this and come again. So we said that this is our tips data set. We said that I have selected a two different colors to plot over here. That is a red and blue color. Because the default color was not that visible. You can try to remove this line and see the default color is not visible. Again, plotting on Google Colab, I find it little not that interesting and not that good. The Jupyter notebook is a little bit better, but it's okay. So SNS.cat plot. So we are doing a cat plot, and what is there on an x-axis? X-axis is a day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because our data set only has a 4 date, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. Why is the total bill? What was the bill? Whether it was $20, $40, and so on. Hue is a smoker. So we are showing as a whether it is a smoker or not smoker. Okay. So what else is there? Call is time. What is time over? Time is like whether it is a dinner or a lunch, right? So it's kind of a like we wanted two columns. The first column should be time is equal to lunch, and second column should be time is equal to dinner. Basically, we wanted two separate graph over here, right? One for a lunch and one for a dinner. So we have specified that call is equal to time. Aspect of 0.6. Let us try and check. Swamp plot is basically give you the dots over here. You can replace these dots by the hexagonals, right? If you were present in the yesterday's lecture, you can also have hexagonal and so on and so forth. And finally, a data frame, right? And this is the output. So what we can do is let's try to replace few of the things, right? If I do aspect as 1, what happens? So it is showing a little bit more properly, right? If it is basically showing how far you want. So if it is like this, I can probably remove this, right? So you have to experiment with it, whether it looks good or not. With 0.6, it was coming probably good in a Jupyter notebook, right? If I make it as a 0.2, it will be probably more bad, right? More bad. It is not able to read properly. Maybe you keep an aspect of 1 so that it is readable as well as the warnings are gone, right? And swan plot will give you a dot. Let's see what are the different options over here. Over the mouse over here, and why this is not showing? If you hover the mouse, it should come usually. In fact, it has been coming so far in the previous sessions. But anyhow, you can always go into the Seaborn documentation of cat plot and look what are the different values possible for the kind. Kind. So strip, swan, violin, box, and let's try with the box. How it shows, right? So kind box. So for each of the days, it is making a box plot over there. So if you look over here, in this case, for a Thursday, so there's the data for a Thursday for a lunchtime, and he was on the smoker, right? Smoker, right? So can I say that on the Thursday, there were more people. I mean, this set of a people, non-smoker had a big bill compared to a smoker, right? The highest bill of a non-smoker was greater than a highest bill of the smoker. If you see just the upper whisker, but if you see the mean value, the median value, the middle value, the median value of it, the median value for a smoker was high. Correct? The middle value for the smoker was high. Over here, you can also see that the smoker is paying a lot for a dinner. Okay, and non-smoker is paying a little less for the dinner on Sundays. Right, this is what you can make up. So you can just play with different options that you have. Point plot, so it is giving you a point, right? Just like we saw before. And let's change back to the dots. So let's go ahead, the next one. So this example of a box plot over here, right? And it is looking very bad. Why is it looking so bad now? Can I put some other thing? Where is greater than 0? Orientation, it's not much visible. What I can do is change this to Y. Let's change it to X. Let's change it to vertical. It's still little bit visible, but not really. Box plot also you can hardly make out. Okay, let it be to the original one. And at least try to understand what it says. Okay. So we tried a couple of things and it did not work out, right? And let's see what can be a possible solution in the second one option, right? We tried all the possible things, but it still doesn't show well. But let's try to understand what it is doing. We are showing the Titanic thing. X is our fare. So we are putting a fare on then x-axis. This is my fare on x-axis. What is a fare of a person? I can see that a lot of person is having a fare over here, something like that. A lot of distributed. Someone is even paying further more. Less fare, and of course the third class has to has a less fare. Y-axis is whether they survived or not. So 0 and 1. Rows, instead of a columns above, we made a rows over here. Rows on the basis of a class, the first class, the second class, and third class. Above we made a column in the above example. In this example, we made rows. We selected certain height and aspect, and we basically how big we want and what should be the aspect, how widthy we want. And we are querying as fare is greater than 0. Right? So whether only the fare that is greater than 0, because we are plotting a fare over here. Now it is not visible, right? There is a
so Harish, for this one, can we change X axis to survived and Y to fair?
yeah, we also tried that, right, a while back.
Okay.
So in the next example over here, what we are doing is, since it was not visible, since it was comparatively less visible, right? Even this is not that visible. So what we have done over here is the same example as above. X-axis is where y-axis is survived, row is a class. It's a box plot. We are putting a block boxes like this. Orientation is horizontal. Height and aspect ratio, we have put something. And we have selected only the fair that is greater than 0. It's the same thing as above, but we have made a X scale as a logarithmic scale. So you can see that we have taken a log values of it. So we are showing a logarithmic scale. And that's why whatever was concentrated over here, we can see it little bit better over here. Little bit better over here. But it's still not that visible, right? And this has got something to do with, let's try over here, right? I think so some parameters are gone wrong. Or sometimes the things that work more better in a Jupyter notebook doesn't. Yeah. So some parameters behave crazy. Let's make it as a height of 2. Yeah, let's make a height of a 2, right? Some parameters behave crazy over here. That's okay. So in this example, right, the above thing, this piece of a code and this piece of a code is exactly the same. And I don't want to show other things. I just wanted to show is about you can also have some scale as a logarithmic scale, right? So sometimes what happens is your data is not that well distributed, right? And you're not able to make out much of the things from this particular graph, right? You're not able to make out of much of the things from this particular graph. So what we can do is chart, you can take a logarithmic scale over here and see over here, right? And this is specifically true, right? Let's say you are working on a credit card fraud analysis, let's say credit card fraud, right? And you try to plot a number of no fraud, right? Genuine transaction versus number of fraud, right? And you're just plotting a count plot. You will see at like this will be a very big one, and this will be very small one. You will not be able to see itself, right? So what you can do is, I mean, this is like a genuine transaction. Of course, on a credit card transaction, maximum transaction will be genuine and fraud will be a significantly lower number. So these are not visible properly on the graph, right? There's my y-axis, there's my x-axis. So what I can do is, instead of doing the same thing, right? X-axis and y-axis, I can take a logarithmic of it. So what will happen is this will look a little bit smaller and this will look a little bit bigger, right? Because the y-axis you have changed it to a log scale, right? Similarly, you can see over here as well. I mean, whatever was a small, it got little bit expanded, right? So if you're working for such a cases, right, where the class is not a balanced class, this is called as a class imbalance. We'll talk about it later on in a machine learning as well. But what is a class imbalance is basically if you're having some particular class that is a genuine transaction is comparatively far high, and like a fraud transaction is comparatively far less, right? Let's say out of 1,000 transaction on a credit card, 999 were a genuine transaction and only one was a fraud transaction, right? Such kind of a thing is called as a class imbalance, right? And this class imbalance is happening in almost many of the use cases. It can be a credit card fraud, it can be a defect detection in any of the manufacturing thing, right? It can be a cyber security. You have to check someone is trying to come inside your network or something like that. That is also a class imbalance. There will be less of a cyber risk as compared to a genuine transaction and so on. So it is basically, if it is a big graph, it's still like that. But small graph, you can see that it has zoomed it significantly and you are able to read it far better. So this is a log scale you just keep in your mind if you're having some graph and that is not looking that good while presenting to a business. Just remember that you can use a log scale over here. That's a quick takeaway from this one. Okay, visualizing linear relationship is not that important. I mean, but since I have just covering it in depth, so let's cover it. But these are the things, right, that are not in important. Again, once I have done this, I will just go through the entire notebook and say what is important and what is not important, what you should read more and what you should not. So visualizing a linear relationship, right? What do you mean by visualizing a linear relationship? So if you look into the peculiar machine learning example, right, of a house price prediction. So let's say this is my house price. What is the price of a house? And this is my area of a house in probably a square feet or a meter. Square feet or a meter. So let's say this is my 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, and so on. What do you think? As the area increases, what will happen to a price?
Price will increase.
Price will increase, right? So graph will be something like this, right? Of course, it will not be exactly. Something will be on top here and all. This is basically all the points, right? So what this particular point says that if I look into this particular point, for a 2000 square feet of house, probably the cost was, let's say, 500K, 1000K, $1,000, $1,500, or whatever, 1000, 1.5. It becomes millions, right? Let me write in a millions. How to remove this? There was some way to just change it to a white color and okay, let me write in a millions. So let's say this was black color. This was a 0.5 million. This was 1 million. This was 1.5 million, right? This was 2 million, right? So what does it say is that this particular point says that there is a house whose area is 2000 square feet and its cost is 1.5 million, right? This point says that there is a house whose area is 1500 and its area is 0.7 million, right? Something like that. So this is house price on the y-axis and this is the area at the x-axis, right? And this is called as a linear relation. There is a linear relation between these two things, right? And what we are seeing over here in this graph is nothing but visualizing the linear relationship. How can you visualize the linear relationship? For visualizing the linear relationship, there are two functions that are available. That is called as a rect plot, and the another one is called as a im plot, right? And it is im plot is for the long form data, that is the data is little bit big. So basically, if you want to show a linear relationship, you can use this kind of a plot. Honestly speaking, you will never use it because you will not have such a simple use case when you're actually working for a machine learning, right? You are not doing a house price prediction. So you will not have a use case like if the area increases, is my house price increasing or not? That's like a fifth, sixth standard use case, right? If you're studying in a sixth class in school. Nothing more than that, right? So you won't have such kind of a use case. In a practical world, the house price doesn't depend only on the area. House price depends on so many things, right? It depends on area, how near it is to the city, whether it is near to an airport or not, and whether it is near to the office area or not, how mature is the locality, whether it is a private property or a government property, whether it is a landed house or a building, whether it is a normal house or duplex, and so on and so forth. It never happens that it's just a simple case for which you are working in an industry. So you never use such kind of a plot, or seldom will use it to show some relationship. But you should know that there is rect plot and im plot. So what is this rect plot and im plot saying? The same thing, right? It's just pointing, showing a total bill on an x-axis and a tip on a y-axis, right? Of course, we have said that the total bill on the x-axis and the y-axis there are tip. Data is coming from a data frame, and we are showing a scatter in a black color. This dot we are showing in a black color, and the line for plotting the relationship is being shown in a red color. That's what we are showing. And we are also showing that there is a linear relation. As the bill increases, if you see over here as well, right? If the bill is increasing, the tip is also increasing. The bill increase, the tip increase, right? That's what we see. But there are obviously a people with a $40+ just giving a $2 tip, and there is a people with a $20 bill giving a $7 tip, right? More or less, the relationship is a linear. So if you want to plot a linear relationship, you can use a rect plot or IM plot. The syntax is pretty simple for it. But again, this simple use cases doesn't exist in a practical, so you will seldom do it. So it's another example is over here. What parameter we have changed? X by scatter KWS, line KWS. And we are plotting size versus tips. Okay, instead of plotting a total bill versus a tip, instead of plotting a total bill versus a tip, instead of plotting a total bill versus a tip, over we are plotting a size versus tip. Again, a bigger group size means that there is a high tip, but not always necessary, right? Sometimes this 4 guy also give this much tip, and 6 guy also give this much tip. Not necessary. Okay, why you don't see any points over here? Anyone? Why you don't see any points over here?
Because size will be
The size of a people will be even number, right?
even
I mean, you cannot be a 2.5 people going to a
right, yeah, integer, yeah.
so 1, 2, 3, 4. So if there are 4 people going, some people is giving a different tips. There's also 6 people also different tips. The 6 people are going also giving different tips. But moreover, the relationship between a group size and a tip is a linear for the majority of the cases. The best fit line is a linear line. Okay. Let's go ahead. And let's look into another data set, right? ANSOMB is again a data set, a little popular data set, not that popular because people don't understand well. So this is also a little popular data set. It was published in the year 1973 by a statistician named this guy. That is having 11 points for each data set. Data set 1 is having 11 points. Data set 2 is having 11 points. 3 is having 11 points. And similarly, data set 4 also has 11 points. So for all 11 points, he given value of X and Y, right? He just gave a random value of X and Y. And what he wanted to show is he was just writing a research paper on the base for the effect of the outliers. What happens if there is an outlier, right? And he was also trying to show that why the plotting is necessary, right? So in 1973, he published a paper that was emphasizing that why plotting is necessary and how the plotting can help you detect the outliers, right? And for writing that paper, this guy also contributed this data set, and that's how this data set came into an existence. So it's not a it's not a very interesting data set like a TIPS data set or a Titanic data set that we saw above. It's again one of the good data sets that was published, right? And I'm just showing all the 44 rows over here that is present for data set 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So let's look into the plotting, right? I mean, let me remove this 50 and make it 5. 5 is enough. Later on, you want to change to 50, so you can change it to 50. Then data set 1, 2, 3, 4, and what we are doing is let's try to understand the question, right? So we are plotting with an x-axis as x column from this data set, y-axis as a y column on this data set, right? And on the for a data set data side, we are only taking a data set I, right? First class, right? We are first data set we are just taking. We are not taking for all the data set. We are showing with the black points and a red line. So that's what it is showing. And we can see that the data is linear. What data he has given over here is a linear data, right? So again, over here, just I'm emphasizing that how you can also query something, right? This was the main objective of this particular example, how you can query a particular data for plotting. Okay, similarly, we are also doing a query for dataset 2. We are plotting a dataset 2, right? We are plotting a dataset 2. And on plotting this, the curve looks like something like this. If you are going to fit a straight line, it's obviously not going to fit properly, right? You have to fit a curvy line. And you can see that data is not a linear data. It's not just increasing as the x goes, the y is not increasing. You can see that as the x is increasing, the y is also decreasing. Okay. So this particular thing is not able to properly fit this line, right? Because obviously, because the curve is not that great, right? So it's just something. Then what we are doing is, instead of just fitting a simple line, over here, if you see that we are trying to fit a line that is having an order of 2. Okay, we are fitting a line in order of 2, right? So if you see that it is not fitting properly, you make an order of 2, right? So what do I really mean by order of 2, right? So can I say that if I look into this line, what is the equation of line? Anyone? What is the equation of a line? What is the equation of a line? You studied in 8th standard, 8th class, 9th class.
X is equal to y.
Y is equal to mx plus c, right? Mx plus c, right? Something like this, right? So to get a value of a y, x plus c, right? Some value, right? C can be some constant, right? How to get the value of m? If you remember, m was equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, right? Y2 minus y1, you take only 2 points. This is 10, this is 7.5. So 10 minus 7.5 is 2.5. Over here, let's say this is 8. And let's say this is 12. I'm just giving some random values. 2.5 by 4, right? What will come as 2.5 by 4? Open the calculator. 2.5 divided by 4. It comes as 0.625. 0.625. Okay, constant can be some 5. Right? I just put something. Right? This is the equation of a line. And if you see that the degree of a x over here is 1. The degree is x is equal to 1, right? Over here. But what I am doing over here is we are just giving a degree as 2, right? So I can make another equation as y is equal to m1x square plus m2x plus c, right? And order is 2, something like that. Order is 2. And of course, I can find a value of m1 and m2. And that is done internally. Don't worry about it. So it will have some equation right over here. And that is plotting some curve, something like this. So what you need to know is, if the order 1 doesn't fit well, you can obviously go for an order 2 and it will fit it well, right? It depends on how is the complication. If it was a more complicated, then you may need a something like this you want, and like this some nonsense you want, right? Nonsense curve, that the equation will get more and more complex, right? Depending on how is the data point. So this can relatively be fitted into a equation or a polynomial with a degree 2, right? So only thing I wanted to emphasize over here is, if for a data set 2 a straight line cannot fit, then you can also use a order 2. You can use a order 3, order 4, and so on and so forth, right? Over here also you can try with the order and just try to see what happens. Multiple order, whether it is giving you something good or. Then let's go to next thing, facet grid. So it again is for visualizing the row, columns, and so on. If you are having a multiple values, right? Multiple variables. So let's take into this how a facet grid look like. So a facet grid. So you are loading a tips data set. We have talked about a tips data set a lot of time. SNS not facet grid is nothing but what we are plotting. And we are only plotting for data frame, smoker no or yes. I mean, as good as the entire data frame, right? Is as good as the entire data frame. But I still wrote no and yes just to show that you can also do a query over here. Doesn't matter. As good as we are taking the entire data frame. call is time. Basically, we are making two different columns. One is a time is equal to lunch and one is a time is equal to dinner. You are showing a smoker by hue, and you are selecting a two different colors, red and blue, right? So you are showing a red and blue, right? And on top of that, you are also plotting an histogram, right? And for a histogram, you are specifying a tip over here. So you can basically just, I mean, give it in a multiple things can be given in a separate instruction. First you specify this and you specify this, right? Like this you can do. And this is not the first time we are doing. If you remember above, we had also plotted a one graph histogram, right? If you remember, we had plotted a histogram, and we did not had a rug over there, and we plotted a rug separately, right? And how it's shown on a graph was something like this, right? And with a rug, right? So I mean to say is, if a histogram doesn't have a functionality of showing a rugs, you can plot a rug separately. I mean, you can just add it in a next instruction that I want a histogram, I want a rugs, right? You can just give a partial information in first one and partial information in a second one and plot. Similarly, we are giving also over here the partial information here, partial information here, and just plotting it, right? So this is what we have plotted, smoker and non-smoker.
So, Harish, how it is different from the like existing one, like the bar plot that we are using earlier, like other than that drugs, how it is different?
I mean, it's also giving the same information, right? It's also giving a bar plot, only that I don't think so. We did in a bar plot, we showed as a um, different columns, right, for a time. It's giving the same information. You can just explore if the bar plot also has. We plotted a bar plot over here, right?
So if
That's
we
the,
give here the column like parameter, it will also give like two kind of.
we'll have to see whether it has a column parameter or not. Let's see whether it has a column parameter or not. So X, I don't think so. This has a column parameter. No, it doesn't have a column parameter.
Okay, so from bar plot we can only like derive one.
Yes, yes. So the two examples we did over here, right? The same first line is exactly the same for both of these use cases, right? But the only difference is in the second line. We plotted a histogram over here, buildings, right? A buildings like structure histogram. And over here we are plotting a scatter plot. We are plotting a scatter plot. Then again over here, we just give a tip as axis so that it was giving us a count of it. But over here we give a total bill versus a tip. Total bill versus a tip. Over here we only give a tip so that it was giving a count of people. Over here it was giving a total bill versus a tip. So two things to take away. You can specify different options and you can give in a multiple steps, right? Then again, these are also not that important. Pair plot, coming to a pair plot, it is it's a pair grid still. Pair plot we covered above, or we will be covering over here. Pair plot is very important. A pair grid is just a start of a pair plot. So let's look into a pair grid as well. So let's look at over here what we are doing. So we are just loading a data set that is of tips. Loading a tips data set. We are plotting a pair grid. So total bill tips. Let me scroll a little bit down. So this is a data set that we have loaded. We can see over here. We are saying that we are specifying basically into multiple steps, right? First, we are saying that I want a pair grid with a data frame and you as a sex, right? Whether it's a male or a female, right? You said you want a U as a sex. And later on, you said that you want a scatter plot. Scatter plot meaning these dots, right? Scatter plot meaning these dots. And again, these three graphs and these three graphs will give you the same information. Just that this, if you see this particular graph, this is a size versus total bill, right? And if you see this graph, this is total bill versus a size. If you see this graph and this graph, it looks like same, just that you have rotated it with a 90-degree. So we have plotted a scatter plot with a pair grid and scatter, right? Over here, a little bit different because diagonal was not giving much information. So over here, what we have done is on the diagonal elements, you have specified the histogram. You have said that I want histogram on the diagonal elements, and I want a scatter plot on the off diagonal elements. Off diagonal elements, I want a scatter plot, right? Sepal length versus petal, sepal width, and all these things, right? So just kind of, and you can control what you want everywhere, right? First you said that I want a pair grid. Then I said that on the diagonal elements, you want an histogram. And again, off diagonal elements, you want a scatter plot, right? So you can control till this level as well, that what you want where. This is an example of it. In coming to a next example, let's look into this, and we have done some more variations. So if you look into this example, again, we have said that we want a pair grid. We want the upper side, this upper side as a scatter plot. The upper side as a scatter plot. Okay, so you got all the scatter plot. You said that on the lower side, you want a KDE plot in a blue color. You want a KDE plot as the kernel density estimator on a blue color. So this is my peak, lot of data over here in this peak. This is my peak, lot of data over here in this peak, right? Because it was making no meaning if your upper diagonal and lower diagonal is giving you the same graph, right? So some people do like this, some people don't show anything on the one side, right? It depends on who is presenting, and showing this graph or doing this exploratory data analysis is just an art. No one is correct and no one is wrong. It's just that how you like, and whatever you present is the next person liking it or not, right? So you said that lower you want a KDE plot, upper side you want a scatter plot, and the diagonal elements you wanted a histogram, right? And of course you are showing an iris, a data flower. So you can have all these things that you can play with, right? And what will happen if I don't write this line? Okay, if I don't write this line, so what will happen if I don't write this line? So there is nothing that is shown over here, right? Nothing shown over here, right? So then what will happen if I don't write this upper line? Nothing is shown over here, right? You can also remove this by dspine or something, right? You can also remove the upper diagonal, right? Upper diagonal elements, how you can always remove it, right? And you can see, you can if you want to remove, you can always just Google about Seaborn pair grid and see how to remove it. So corner is equal to false, drop NA is equal to false, drop NA, D spine is equal to true, drop NA, what is this drop NA doing? Dropping missing values from data before plotting. Okay, they show, this is the example, right? You can see over here the example. So you can see that example over here, that they are just simply not showing anything on the top, right? So many of the data scientists and data analysts like to just not show anything on the top, because if you convey more information to a business guy, he will unnecessarily be confused, right? if it is giving the same information, this is a variation, right? You are showing a KDE plot and a scatter plot and over here again a KDE plot on the diagonal elements as well, right? So it's also a good example wherein the upper is a scatter plot, the lower is a KDE plot, and the diagonal element is also KDE. Diagonal is KDE, lower is scatter, upper is nothing, right? Upper is nothing. So
these commands are available only for this type of graph, is it? Pair
yeah,
grid?
for the
Okay.
pair plots and pair grids. I mean, you can just break and do it into a multiple things for almost for all, whatever is available. But
Okay.
yeah, this kind of a things like hiding is applicable for this one. Over here also you can see that a histogram is shown over here, right? But again, it doesn't make meaning in showing the same thing on both the sides. So you can just play with it. More you read the documentation, at least you know that, oh, these are the different things that are possible, right? These are the different things that are possible. Going to the last one, pair plot. Pair plot is giving everything in a single shot, right? So pair plot, we are saying that I want a data frame is my input. X variable is a total bill and total size. Y variables is a tip, right? Let's say Y variable, I want Y variable few more. Total bill also, right? Smoker as a hue and height as a phi and aspect of 0.8, right? This also giving the same thing, right? Something like this. You can just specify on x-axis what are the different things that you want, y-axis what are the different things you want, right? And what will happen if I don't specify the entire x and y? If I don't specify the entire x and y, right? So what will happen if you don't at all specify x and y? It is going to format for all the things that you have, right? Just like a pair grid, but little bit different things of options. I mean, what are the different options that are available, right? So you have made a KDE over here, and over here on the diagonal elements, you have made a scatter plot, as well as you have tried to fix a regression line over here, right? So you can just, I mean, more you explore, more you come to know. So this is only about Seaborn and Matplotlib. This is very important thing because these are the kind of results that you're going to show to your business stakeholders, right? What you find from a data. So since we have looked into a lot of plots and we don't really have much time left for actually starting an EDA. So we'll do an EDA next week. But what we can do is we can just have a quick look into what are the important things. Okay, importing the library is like you need no need to talk. This was a simple thing. Of course, you also can make out that you won't need to make such kind of a graphs, right? Of course, you know you are not here to plot a sine wave. You don't need this. I mean, for a practical point of view. For an exploratory data analysis point of view. The palette also, you are not here to show the palette colors, but later on you may need it for coloring and so on and so forth, right? So let's go further. This is an histogram. So histogram is required. You need to know histogram. You can, I will suggest that his plot, you read the documentation of his plot. Okay, so this is one of the things that you should consider reading more. And we have covered a lot of them. But his plot you consider reading furthermore. This plot a little less is also okay. Most of the time you are going to. Yes.
This histogram and bar chart are the same thing?
Histogram and bar chart are the similar thing, yes. Let's just Google what does both the things are giving differently, right? Even
No.
his plot and this plot is almost the same. Histogram versus bar graph. Know the difference. So histogram is a type of a bar chart that is used to represent the statistical information by way of bars by displaying the frequency. Histogram can do this. Key difference. Histogram refers to a graphical representation that shows the data by way of the bars to display the frequency. What is the difference over here? Histogram distribution is non-discrete variables of discrete variables, right? Meaning it's for continuous variable, it's for a categorical variable. That's the only difference. I mean, if you want to plot for a categorical variables, prefer a bar graph. Okay. If you want for a categorical, you plot a bar graph. If you want for a numerical value, plot a histogram.
Okay.
Okay, so saying that, and that's not really necessary. You can also have a histogram for that as well. Then this plot and histogram again. This plot is a deprecated one. This plot and his plot, you try to read all the parameter of his plot. That's important. Joint plot can skip it. Joint plot can skip it. Skip it. Pair plot is really very important. We have covered over here as well as we have covered down to show the different parameters that are possible. So pair plot is very, very important. You have to do pair plot for sure. Heat map is also very important. Heat map is important. Stair plot not important. Leave it. Swam also leave it. Box plot very important. You have to look into box plot, see what are the different parameters that are possible. Violent plot, I mean, one of them is important, either a box plot or violent plot. Prefer to read box plot more, and violent plot also you can just read it for yourself. But plot a box plot. I mean, even though the violent plot conveys the more information, sometimes the more information is not that useful for it. It's not always good. Bar plot.
Harish, one more question on the violent plot. Can you go above? In the above, we had an example. No, down. Yeah, this one. So last time when we were discussing about this one, I remember we had this violent plot, and then we had merged it into one, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this one.
Yeah, this one. But in that case, how do we like our boxes has the median and everything have become one bar, right? So how do we differentiate
Yes,
which
you
one is
you
the
cannot differentiate.
okay? So then what is the use of the one in bottom?
I mean, this gets you little bit easy to compare the things, and this gives you the average of both. I mean, if you see this median values or the interquartile region, it's for both together. What is the interquartile region? So if you want to see for both together, you can do this, as well as it is little bit easier to do this. Right? A little bit easier to do this.
But
And it also
we
looks
can't
fancy, right?
differentiate in that case that the values interpret
Yeah, I
that
mean,
value
it
what
gives for both together, right?
both together.
You, I
Okay.
mean, you take the for both male and female, it gives the median of a total bill. Whereas this is the median of only the male, and this is the median of only the female. But this is the median of total. I mean, all both male and female.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
Okay, so this was about violent plot. So box plot, violent plot important. Box plot more important. Bar plot, we did it for a categorical variables. Bar plot also important. Count plot also little important. And this is a count plot. Point plot not important. Again, box plot is important. Same thing we are saying about a wide form data. Box plot is really important. And cat plot not that important. But with a cat plot with a, I mean, if you want to show like this, you can use it. But usually you will just plot a simple. I mean, you will plot You can, I mean, you don't need a cat plot, but you can just make a 3 box plot as well, right? You can always make a 3 different back box plots for first class, second class, and third class. But with a cat plot, you can just combine everything in a with less lines of code. So it's not like need to know it and you cannot live without it. It's always good to know cat plot, but it's not a need to know. IM plot and reg plot is not that much required. Not having such a simple world is not that simple. You don't need much. This was just to say that you can also have a degree of 2, and no or yes, you can always query the data. Again, you need to know these options, right? You need to try these options and just see how you can hide different things, right? Where did we see? So went back. Pair grid, right? It was in pair grid. So how you can have something like this, right? So that you limit the information. That's it about Seaborn. Any queries? Anyone? Any doubts? Okay, so that's it about Seaborn. What we'll do is we'll just take a 15 minutes of break, and later on we will just have a casual discussion about what are the, I mean, what exactly your domain is and how we can use your own domain data set for doing an EDAs, right? So we'll just take a maybe a 10 minutes of break and then we come back. So the time at my place is 10:07, 11:07. Just let's take a break of 13 minutes maybe, and let's come back at 11:20. We are done with the Seaborn, and we want to start with exploratory data analysis. But I will do one EDA. One EDA, I will do a generic EDA. And of course, if you want to land up into a job, there are people who show these things in their resume. They will definitely, their resume won't be shortlisted as well, right? You have to show something that is relevant to your industry if you want to land up into the job. So we'll discuss about what are the data sets that is possible. So let's take a break of 13 minutes or 12 minutes now and come back at 11:20. So let's take a break and come back in 12 minutes.